Have you ever looked around and wondered, where did my friends go? Like, where did they go? My name's Annette. I'm 63, and I started to realize after 50 that making friends is not as easy as it used to be. And I have to believe that a lot of you out there are probably feeling the same thing that I'm feeling, which is why I'm starting this YouTube channel to talk about all things midlife. But today I want to talk about the friend situation because we all know as we get older, it's definitely something that we have to address because staying connected is going to give us a much more fulfilling future, a much more fulfilling life to begin with. And I think what I'm noticing as I get older is that you have to keep pushing against these walls that are starting to close in and making your life smaller. And this is something that I think we all suffer with on some level. So let's talk about the friend thing because I want to tell you what I'm doing to shift it now that I've sort of had this friend realization. But I also started to think about why is it so much more difficult and where did my friends go? So I did come up with, and I put some notes here. So if I'm looking over here, I came up with 5 reasons why it's different now when you're in your 50s and beyond. So one of the reasons that I came up with was because of the life changes that we all encounter at this time. Like for me, I'm divorced. That was a big life change, not just for me, but for my family, but also in some of my friend groups, because some people were just not there. They just, and so it was a difficult time, but also when you're on a different trajectory than some of your friends, sometimes you might lose them. That's what I found when I got divorced. You may have had a different situation. The other thing is family shifts. So for me, my kids are older now. In fact, I'm an empty nester. And so we don't have that built-in social piece that we used to have when our kids were younger. So you really have to go out and create your own friends. So I found that that was a big piece of it too. The other thing is career. So well, first off, I think for most of us before COVID, a lot of us worked in offices. I did. I loved my work family. I loved them. All different ages. They were wonderful. But COVID came along, and for myself, and probably a lot of you, ended up working from home. So I now work remotely, and that's not ideal. Like, I don't have the built-in family anymore. I have to really make an effort to meet people. Yes, I see the people I work with on Zoom calls, but it's just not the same. There's that piece. The other piece for me is I now work remote, as I mentioned, but also I work 12 to 9 p.m. Monday through Friday. That's not ideal at all, but it is what it is. So I have to kind of work around that. The other piece with jobs and careers, for a lot of people our age, they're retiring. And so that's another whole thing where, again, you don't have the work family, so you have to create new sets of friends. And the other thing is relocation. So I thought about this because for myself, I have moved about 6 times in the last 10 years. And what I've noticed is every single time I move, I am moving further and further away from my friend set, from my friends. And so now you have to make a conscious effort to stay connected. And a lot of my friends have moved away. They're downsizing. They're retiring. They want to be in warmer weather. Totally get it. So that was the other piece that I thought of. This is why it's harder. And then there is the energy piece. Like at the end of my day, which again ends at 9 p.m., I am flipping exhausted. I mean, I'm tired. And the idea of socializing is not high on my list. So that's another reason I think I've let things sort of float away in a sense. But I have started to make some minor shifts, and I'd be curious to know what you're doing at this stage in your life. But I'm going to tell you what I have started doing, and I'm baby stepping it. But the first thing, number one, is I started saying yes again. Yes more often. You know, I know how you hear a lot of people talk about, oh, this is the year of yes. Well, I've never actually had a year of yes. For me, like I'm very much an introvert. So my first inclination is always going to be, no, you know what, I'm doing this, I can't do that. Because it feels safe for me to be home. But I'm realizing that's not conducive to having a great social life and being connected at the same time. I find that I've always felt like when you're out in the world, there's a certain cadence to life, you know? I remember I would tell my kids when they were younger, I would say to them, you know what? Life's not happening in here. It's happening out there. And you need to get out there and live it. And so I need to give myself that same advice. So I'm starting to say yes more and more often. And one thing that I've noticed is any time that I have said yes and I've gone somewhere, not once have I been driving home saying, I wish I didn't go. That has never happened. Ultimately, you will always meet someone who's interesting, and you're just out in the world. And I think that there's something to be said about forcing yourself to go, because at the end of the day, you're always going to be happy that you did. And that's so important, especially for people like me that are introverted. But yes, right now I am in the year of yes. So if you ask me to do something, I'm going to do it. Now, number two, the other thing that I am doing is I am nurturing my old friends. So I have friends, not a lot of friends. I don't need a lot of friends. I have my core group. So I do have friends that I've been friends with for over 20 years. I have an even smaller group of friends that I've been friends with since my 20s. So I feel really fortunate about that. But we're all in this stage of life where there's lots of things happening. So you really have to nurture the friends that you have. And I realize that it's up to me to keep those connections strong. So I'm making it a point every month to reach out to someone different, whether it's a phone call or a text. And I want to do more of, I'm going to come and see you for the weekend, or please come and stay with me. I would love to have you. Why don't we meet halfway? So it doesn't take a lot to keep those friendships alive. I especially love the friends that I have where I may not see them for 20 years, but we will pick up mid-sentence from where we left off before. Those are the best friendships to have. So you really have to protect those and nurture those, and it's up to you to keep that connection strong, because we're all doing lots and lots and lots of other things, and now is the time to really keep those people in your life. But let's not forget about new people as well. So there's that. And then the final thing that I have been doing is looking for what I call curious rooms, meaning I feel like this is a time in life where we are or should be learning new things, where we're highly creative, where it's sort of a time of experimentation. So I'm looking for people that are learning new things, just like myself. So, for example, I am going to start learning Italian again. I took Italian in high school. I haven't done anything with it, but I saw a poster for an Italian group and I'm going to join it because I think that would be a great way to meet new people. And then maybe I go to Italy one day and order a fabulous meal in Italian. So I feel like that would be super fun. Also, I love reading. I love writing. I just love the written word. So joining a book club might be a good idea. Or I'm actually thinking of a writing class, whether it's online or I go somewhere. It's another way to meet like-minded people that are trying new things. So I think that's so important, and just actually putting yourself out there and doing things that you're maybe not that great at to begin with. I think it's a good lesson in life. I have a lot of people who have taken up pickleball and they love it. And they may not have been very athletic to begin with, but you know what? They're doing it now and they love it and it's good for them and they're meeting new people. So that's what I'm looking for. Groups like that, which now brings me to why I'm starting my YouTube channel. I am so interested in what you're all doing, what people in midlife are doing. Let's face it, it's not our parents' midlife. We have lots of opportunities now. We are living longer. We are healthier. So many things that we can be doing. So I really want to keep this conversation going. I want the connection to be strong. I just want to hear what you're doing, what you've experienced, because we've all experienced so much up to this point. What you're dealing with right now, because there's a lot of changes that people are going through, that all of us are going through. So please, I would love to see any comments. If there's certain topics that you would like to discuss, there is nothing off limits. If there's any questions that you would like to ask me, I plan on being here every week with my coffee. So come with your coffee, come with your tea, come with a cocktail if that's how you roll. I would love to see you again. So hope to see you next week.